Hello and welcome to the One Life Remaining podcast. I'm Lewis,
And I'm Matt.
and we're just going to talk about games. Matt, Resident Evil 7,
Biohazard.
why on earth have you played this now? You, much like myself, don't play games until they're at least almost retro. So you've got at least, you're 2 years ahead of what you should be playing Resident Evil.
This is true. At this point now, I'd like to say that Fallout 4, one of the games I was looking forward to most of all, it still sits on my shelf sealed. One day. That'll be included on here. I promise. I think it just warranted playing straight away. Looking at it, it was something completely new and different to the older style Resident Evils that we've been trying to catch up on.
Well, yeah, we say older. We've been playing 4, 5, and we're getting on to 6. Because there's two different kinds of older. There's punching a boulder in a volcano older, and there's actual horror, mansion, dodgy camera angles.
Yes, and there no comment on which one of those is better. But I just felt like trying something new, up to date, and I'd seen a lot of stuff about Resident Evil that I thought was exciting. And I really couldn't wait to know, was it just another horrific failure on the Resident Evil franchise that I used to love, or had they actually made something that was survival horror?
Yeah.
Resident Evil's name implies that it kind of should have a certain ambience to it, a certain feel, and in the number 5 when we've played it through didn't have that. It feels very comical to an extent. The zombie stylings now are much more arcadey.
If Chris Redfield were played by someone, it'd be Schwarzenegger in that movie, or
Yes.
Statham or someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we played the game all the way through just to see them punch the boulder. And
Yeah.
when we did, we were not disappointed. So when at 7, I wanted to know if I was going to be disappointed in it or not. I wanted to know now I'm going to play it, and is it just going to be the same rubbish?
Well, that's because we both played the demo and were very surprised.
Yes, I did equally have the pleasure of playing the VR demo, so I played the kitchen in VR. Terrifying, by the way. You should still do it now if you can. Still do it now. It's only about a minute long, but scary. And then I did get to play the house one as well, which has multiple endings. I found very interesting, and the first person is absolutely the trick, I felt.
That makes it
there.
terrifying.
That then makes it, because it is you. When you walk around, the subtle hands you can see, if you pick something up, it's in your hand. Makes it feel like you're there. Equally, I think you can't see behind you, and that's what makes a game scary. Or if you go through a door, you have to open it. In a third-person Resident Evil game, I can just dodge the camera around a bit.
Yeah.
I can see around the corner. I can see if a guy's coming up behind me, because I can see.
It's more strategy than
Yeah,
horror.
I can see, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas when it is first person, I have my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
If there's someone coming up behind me, I'm never going to know. And that is required of a scary game.
Did you play it with a headset?
I did, yes. The VR I did with a headset, and I have played it since I've started playing it with a headset as well. And it is much better.
Because that's, from what I remember the demo, you could hear them creeping around.
Yes, there is lots of very subtle noises. In all honesty, if you play it in the day with the lights on, you're wasting the game.
Yeah.
You need to be playing it at night, in the dark, and you need to shut off the world. If you've got yourself a nice surround sound system, that'll be great. Otherwise, for the normal person, definitely get your headphones on. Because the house is as scary as anything that's coming up behind you.
The noises.
There's noises and creaks, and maybe you'll hear 10 creaks and every one of them's been nothing, so you start to ignore them. Well, the 11th creak is a guy straight away in front of you, behind you. Maybe he comes through the wall. No spoilers. Maybe a guy comes through the wall. You never know what's going to happen. So that's why I decided to get straight into it anyway. Getting back to your original question, is I wanted to see, was it going to inspire me to want to go back and play 6, something we've been putting off for a while.
Yeah, well, because Resident Evil, for me, because I'm a newer adopter to the series, much like Final Fantasy, which I need to get into, whereas you've played them all. And for
Yes,
me,
I'm old.
Yeah, well, for me, Resident Evil has always been like, everyone always says, Final Fantasy is not as good as 7. Every single one is not as good as 7. Well, Resident Evil, everyone says it's not as good as 1 or 2. Every single game is not as good as 1 or 2.
Yes, agreed.
And so this one, arguably, from what I can tell, is an amalgamation of 1 and 2. It's a bit actiony, but it's a bit more horror. Is that true? Is that fair?
I think so, yeah. I think that, as I threw it out earlier, survival horror is its so-called genre, and they probably try and tack that onto every single version of Resident Evil. But survival horror to me is there's not enough ammo, you don't really know what's going on, and you're wandering in an environment you're not sure, and you are more than able to make a mistake.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of games like this genre now, they're very... You can only go through this door, you can only go into this room, so you couldn't get the wrong item or go the wrong way or fall into a trap that's going to murder you.
Yeah.
This one has instantly picked up the puzzling and the exploration side of 1 particularly. 1 was more of the puzzle side and strategy. 2 is more of the arcade feel to it.
Well, because from what I've been told, the more you play the game, it actually gets more actiony. Like, I thought you've got like a knife and stuff like from the first one, which you do.
Yeah.
But then don't you get like stupidly big weapons?
Yeah. If you could tick the boxes of did they look at Resident Evil 1 and 2 and try and work out what made it good, again, no spoilers. You do your initial, say, tutorial. It isn't, but it is kind of trying to show you how this game's different to maybe the past couple you've played. Once you get out of there, pretty much the third room you go in has a shotgun. So you've got no weapons, and suddenly, wow, a shotgun, yes, that's what I need in this world, because, to be honest, I want to be leaving. Yeah. The dudes I've seen so far, they're not my friends, and I'd like a big gun. So it goes, here's a shotgun, why don't you take it? So you'll go into this room, and of course you pick up the shotgun, and it's a trap, and you're locked in the room. How do you get back out of the room? You put the shotgun back.
Yeah.
And you can escape. Now, if you've played any older Resident Evil games, that's pretty much in all of them.
Yeah.
As the puzzle of how do I get my first big gun? Maybe in a few hours' time, I'm going to find a thing that I can replace it with.
Indiana Jones style.
And I think what this one does very cleverly is you wander around trying to even work out what the puzzle is, and you pick up some items, and you'll see them. Here's an item, a pendulum, and you go, oh, a pendulum, great. Well, what am I going to do with this? As you're walking around, suddenly you're being attacked. There's something chasing you, or something's come. While you're trying to work out what the puzzle is, the game's giving you no time. They can, unlike in an older Resident Evil game, I'll go in a room and I'm safe and I can look around. Oh, what's the puzzle? Oh, a slot in a wall. In this one it goes, you've got the item, maybe you've looked at it, you've worked out where it goes. But unfortunately we've put 10 guys between you and there now. And also when you go into the room, you're sure where you're supposed to use it. Half of the room's going to blow up, and then you're going to have to wander around. You're going to go, oh my god, no. And then suddenly you were so sure you had it right, and it's flipping it on its head. And now you're in a scenario where you can die instantly, and you didn't know. So then how do I get away, but how do I still get back to that puzzle? Because that still is what I'm trying to do. And it is just, you spend all your time looking. And I think one of the greatest things is you open the doors now. So you press your button, I play on Xbox, you press A to open a door, but what that does is turn the handle. So pressing A turns the handle. You have to press forward to go through the door.
Right.
And if you press it slowly, you will open the door very slowly. If you double tap A, you can kick the door open very quickly. But you might have 20 bullets in your gun, and you're looking at 6 bullets to kill something, and that's if you're a crack shot, which you are aware I am. You remember, one day maybe we'll go over how amazing
with
I
Barry.
am with Barry or Jill. I am the gun guy, so yeah, we can get the headshots and stuff, but there's too many of them for me to kill, so maybe I need to work out a distraction to get them out of that room,
Right.
or something else, and that adds a new layer. Or I'm not going to say I'm above, running in, shooting one in the leg, doing the thing and running off.
Yeah, but that is
because as long as I can get away, you're not there to kill everything.
It's
you're there to
survival.
survive.
Yeah.
And for me, right from the beginning, that's what it's done. There's the game, I guess, because I've played them a lot, I get more worried when I start to get ammo, when I start to get health.
Yeah, but that's an old game trope. Whenever it loads you up on health or ammo, you basically, a silly person will turn around and go, oh, this is good. An intelligent person who's played more than one game before goes, why?
Why have I got that? And
Why?
then even better, it does suffer. There's one unfortunate little tip of its own hat. Autosave. Oh, it's autosave just as I was about to go through a room. Oh.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then I turn
That'll
around
throw.
and I run off.
Yeah.
I look at my inventory. Another thing it does well, is the inventory is fully. The game carries on. So, like a lot of these games are now, I think its best comparison will be Dead Space. Literally, it pops up. So in the game, your health as well is a watch that has a little heartbeat monitor on. Classically from Resident Evil, your health is always a heartbeat monitor.
Yeah.
It's green and healthy, you're good. It's orange, you're getting beat up. It's red, you best be finding a herb.
Yeah.
And probably your leg's broken for some reason. You always hobble when you're dying. Well, it does the same, but to make it feel more up to date and real, it's a watch,
like an iWatch,
like an Apple Watch,
yeah.
Almost identical to an Apple Watch.
But
I'd say it's not an Apple Watch, nor are we sponsored, but it is definitely very much like an Apple Watch. But you can only see that in game. So you can go into your inventory if you need to use a healing item.
Yeah.
You put the inventory up. You can see your health, but you're live in game.
Yeah.
So there is a quick heal button where you use the health that you've defaulted as your basic health item. So that's good.
Yeah.
But you can't see your items. If you go to a door and you need to unlock it with a key, you have to go to the door. You have to go to your inventory. You have to pick the key. If you're being chased by an undisclosed thing, you need to be quick. So you need to know, where is it in your inventory? Can you get through? Maybe you don't try it. Maybe you run off, lead it away and come back, just so that you're not trying to crash through the door.
So, but you never... So, from what I can take away from what you said about this game, you're never safe.
You're never safe. Apart from, and I've only played it for about, I think, 4 hours now. I've played it for about 4 hours, and there is one wonderful thing that I love, which is the save room, or safe room as I'd call it. So it makes you feel very pleasant. You go in, the door automatically shuts behind you, which doesn't happen usually, and there's beautiful music playing. There's a tape recorder, that's how you save your game, and you feel safe. There's also a magical box that moves your items around the mansion because, well, house.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the game would be very annoying.
Having to go all the way
if you
back
had
to
to
one
physically
box,
go
yeah.
to where you put items would be frustrating, so definitely not that. But you always get in there and you feel like, yes. I am quite worried at some point I'll get attacked in one of those, because that's probably what I'd do if I was me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's where you're safe. But any other time, you can get attacked doing anything. Even when you're trying to work out a puzzle, you're looking at something. The items you pick up, because it is quite heavily based around VR, you have the rotatey looking at it in front of you, but a lot of them might be, there's a clue on the back of a photo, or boxes you physically have to open. So there are little lock boxes, and you have to pick them up, turn them so the lock's at the front, and click it to open it. Then you have to turn it to look inside.
Right.
So it's physically like you were interacting with that item.
See, this sounds awesome.
But that's all real in game. So while I'm looking in this box to get a key or a clue, dude could be coming up behind me.
Jeez.
And that's what the worst thing that could happen. The disorientation from it is too much.
Yeah.
It's very confusing, very distracting.
So
Overall, I mean, I couldn't be happier is the honest truth. I feel like it's absolutely a hit.
So if you're a long-time Resident Evil fan,
yes.
I'm relatively new to it.
Yeah.
What if you've never played Resident Evil? Should you play this one? Should I go play the HD remake of 0 and 1 and 2 eventually is coming out? Or can I just play this?
Just play this. My opinion is just play this. Would it benefit from the Resident Evil name so far? As a long-time fan, no. There has been nothing particularly that links in. As I play it more, I'm sure there'll be Easter eggs and such, and maybe as the story progresses. But you could pick up Resident Evil. I think its name is clever, because if you read its name, it actually says Resident Evil Biohazard. Now, we know it's called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yeah.
But it is written as Resident Evil Biohazard, like a reimagining from the beginning.
Right.
You wouldn't have had to know anything about Resident Evil to enjoy this game. However, sticking the Resident Evil name on and knowing, from my perspective, it seems to be set past everything else simply because of the technology in it. Like having
Smart
the watch,
watches.
having the things.
Yeah.
The other games haven't had that, so in theory, this one is further on in a timeline.
Well, hopefully, what I would like is, I think we should do a video of me playing it in VR personally, because, I get scared as hell.
Yes, you don't like... You might notice as we go on, there'll be games I play and there'll be games that Lewis plays. And I really, really enjoy horror games. and so I tend to play them. But what I like to do, and what I've tried to get Lewis to for a long time, is then play them, haven't I? The scarier ones with me, because half the enjoyment of a horror game is watching someone else be terrified of it.
And I don't do horror. I don't do horror movies. I don't do that. So I can imagine I'm going to be terrified. I did the kitchen demo in VR, and that was too much. And that was a 1 minute demo where you don't move.
Yeah.
It's just very passive.
Yes.
So I imagine I could maybe do an hour of this VR, but we'll see how it goes.
As I've played it, I have breaks. I feel like it is a bit... If you allowed yourself to get caught up in it, of course it's a game, and so, it's not real and all this, but if you can set it up for yourself, turn the lights off, get your headphones on, really immerse yourself in it. I've just played it on Xbox, not PlayStation, and really enjoyed it. In VR, there are parts of this game that I think you're going to stop playing. There are parts, even just 3 hours, 4 hours in, where certain things happen that are uncomfortable, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I think that then in VR it will really push that boundary for you. That is, maybe that's enough. And I play it for an hour and I turn it off because I just feel like that's enough adrenaline. Let's put it down, let's save, let's have a rest, let's play a different game, maybe Pokemon. And then we'll come back to it.
Well, yeah. And much like that, we'll put that down for now. So we'll probably just do an outro now.
Outro time.
Outro time. Outro time. Well, if you've enjoyed listening, then please subscribe, follow us, drop us a like, and we will endeavour to supply you with more video uploads, more podcasts, and just generally more content.
If you don't want to do any of that, though, it's also fine. You don't have to. You don't have to do it. Like, if you don't go and like it now, I'm not going to say, Lewis, no more videos, no more recordings. No, you know what? Huge failure.
We give up.
Epic failure. You know what you're like? Orbs.
Green Ninja 75 says does not like.
He did watch it. He definitely did, and he didn't like, subscribe, share, and follow.
You missed comment as well.
Comment, please. I think of anything, the comment would be my personal favourite right now.
Are you kidding? I do not want him to comment.
I want comments because as long as the comment says, Matthew, your voice is beautiful. I would love more of your stylings. Yeah, but also if you could do those, that'd be super.
Yeah. So basically, tune in again next time, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.